I don't know if this is just me with not reading comics or at all, but I never knew that comics had like issue ones, issue two. I never knew
Do you
that.
read mangas? You read mangas, huh?
Manga.
Manga. Don't you read some manga?
I mean, not really. I mean, I'll read it online, but yeah, I never really knew that like they would release one issue and then like a
Yeah,
week
so
after
so the way
something
that
would
this will
release.
work is so if you this is an issue one, what the reason why we're highlighting this book too is because you need no prior knowledge or insight to be able to
Comprehend.
enjoy or comprehend this comic. Right? So you can walk in your local comic shop, you don't need any prior history. You can go in and be like, because that's what I think what thing that most people find intimidating about comics is like, I don't know anything about Iron Man or Superman and all these backstories. You can just go right into this and be like, hey, this is an issue one. It's a brand new story. It's not a superhero thing. Um, but yeah, this in this case every month you'll get a new part to this story.
Every month.
Yeah, so
That book,
sometimes more.
that book is like
so
5 minutes long though.
this book is going to be a 6-parter. So you'll get 6 of these single issues.
6 months. Wow.
Yeah, and then eventually they compile this into what they call a trade paperback. So if they like this comic book, they will be like, well, I mean, once somebody who likes this comic and they're like, I want this story completed. I don't necessarily just want the single issues. I'm going to go in and I'm going to get this compiled, the full story from beginning to end. It's compiled in what's called a trade paperback. And that's a compilation of comics. In this case, it's only 6 parts. If this does well, they could even do like a part 2, right? And maybe you get 6 more issues. Some comics have 12 issues. Some comics are ongoing, so it can happen for years.
Crazy.
And every month you get a little short story like in
So
this format.
Is it always every month, or is it just like this one?
So every Wednesday is new comic book day. So every Wednesday you can go to your local comic shop and you can say, hey, I want to, today's Wednesday. I know. That's why we do the podcast on Wednesdays.
That's aura.
Yeah. So every Wednesday you can walk in your comic shop and you can see the newest comics that came out. Right. And that's kind of what we're trying to do too, is like, hey, like you don't need to know about Superman or Batman or all that backstory. I just want to go into a comic shop and find a cool story. And it's short. It's a short little something you can kind of just digest. And
so you're telling me every Wednesday you go buy a new comic?
Every Wednesday, I probably buy a little stack of comics, actually.
So,
which is why you organizing this whole space. He was like, "How many comics do you have?"
Nah, that's crazy. No, but be honest. How much, like, just in this year by itself, how much do you think you spent on comics?
That's a loaded question, buddy.
Loaded.
This comic cost $4.99. This is $5.
So times 50. Wow, that's a lot. It's $200 in itself. Wait.
A year, maybe. What if you're 52 times 5? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, 50. Well, that's 25 then. Well, 25 something. Yeah.
Yeah. Look. Yeah.
Some comics are $10.
Some comics. Some. I will buy some trades. There'll be one that's. So there's another thing that's a graphic novel, and it's a complete story from beginning to end. That's not in this single format, and that graphic novel will have a complete story in a book, thicker book. And that could be like a $30.
So you're saying you spend between $500 to $1,000 on comics a year? Okay, the thousand's a stretch, but like still. I'm doing the math.
I spend probably more than $1,000 on comics a year. No, no.
We'd have customers that have like 20 things on their pull list, so yeah, they spend a lot more. It's a hobby. Some books are worth a lot too.
Pick up that. There's a book right there to the right of you called Black Science at the very top. That is a complete run of an entire comic book series. I have all those single issues. How much is that book on the very back? It'll tell you.
$60.
That's a $60, but that's every issue of Black Science.
Gosh, it's like.
Which I want to say is like 60 issues, maybe. Is that right?
I want to say, yeah.
This is heavy.
It'll tell you. It's like compiles issues 1 through something at the very bottom in the back. Issues 1 through.
Am I lying? Oh, 1 through 43.
Okay, so 43 issues.
Gosh.
For $60 there. Black Science, one of my favorite series there.
I'm not gonna lie, like the art's beautiful though.
At $5 a pop, that's roughly $215.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I got it at a deal, right?
Yeah.
I like this compendium. No, I just showing it just so you can hold on to it. Yeah, that's a big, thick book.
Thick.
With 2 C's. But yeah, no, I mean, look, this is how this is how it hashes out sometimes.
What's cool about that is how thick that book is. If you think of 43 issues,
At $5 a pop.
That's probably like a 3-hour read. That
Yeah.
whole book.
Oh, that's
Like,
light.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
a thick book. Because if that was all words, you'd look at that and be like, "That's gonna take me months."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, I mean, no, and this is what me and Adrian were discussing. I feel like oftentimes people do think that they're like, oh, comics can be easier reads, but we also discredit the fact that visually we do have to ingest art.
Yeah.
Right. I don't just look at an image. I'm just like, oh, that's it. Right. If we're looking at a beautiful work of art, if you're looking at a beautiful photo, right, they'll say like a picture's worth 1,000 words. Our mind still has to process that.
Right.
And a good artist is going to can tell an insane story. Like, have you ever seen a Where's Waldo
Where's Dylan?
Where's Waldo book?
No.
Waldo.
You ever seen Where's Waldo?
The
We
white
have to
and red
find
striped shirt.
Hold on.
like a find it. Like you've seen one of those pictures that's got like a bunch of things in it, and it's like find this tiny little thing or find it.
Oh, Where's Waldo? I thought you were talking about Arthur.
So you've seen Where's Waldo, right?
Yeah, I seen Where's Waldo.
Okay,
yeah.
so one Where's Waldo image, really cool, and you could spend a lot of time because you're looking for Waldo in that, right?
There was a Waldo. Where's Waldo show?
Yeah, you don't remember the show?
That
It
seems
came out in
boring.
2019. No, I do not.
No, there was an earlier one. There was like a Fox Kids one, wasn't it?
What?
Yeah, it was.
Was it bad?
But I mean, no, it was just early Saturday morning cartoon stuff. But we don't always account for a good artist is going to give you stimulation in the same way that reading something will, because you have to ingest good imagery, especially specifically Matteo Scalera in that Black Science book. One of my favorite artists. You're right. That book is beautiful. And there is so much in there to ingest. So it's not like you're just reading the words. It's a combination of visual storytelling with words that your mind has to process. And that's also what's beautiful about the medium, right? Let's say you have a really cool story as well. This is something that artists and storytellers, and what's so beautiful about the collaboration of comic books. If I have a story about an astronaut who meets aliens in outer space, and I'm a filmmaker, but that's a very high concept film for me to make, right? That sort of like a good version of that story for me to make as a film would cost millions of dollars. Whereas in myself and a really good artist can tell a really good, compelling story just as good as a multi-million-dollar film through ink and paper and colors in a comic book. So you can do high concept stories without the high concept budget that exists within Hollywood. And that's also beautiful. It's like you have the ability to tell a great, beautiful story without the restrictions that you have through other forms of visual media. So there's a lot of beauty behind, was that a little hiccup, Tommy Jeff?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There's a lot of beauty behind this medium, and I do love it. I love the art in Be Not Afraid. I love the colors. I am interested. Would you read issue 2 of this book?
Maybe.
Are you interested? Did this issue 1 capture you enough to where I was like, hey, I have issue 2 right here. Do you want to read and see what happens next?
Okay, hear me out. So if I had issue 2 right then and there, I would honestly read it. If I had all 6 issues, I probably would read it. Because I mean, I was a little hooked. I won't lie, but at the same time, I'm not down to wait an entire 6 months and go to my comic store. Every
No,
Wednesday,
you don't have to wait
so.
6 months. You just have
It
to wait
comes out
one
next
month. Next month, issue 2.
Well, okay. Well, I'm talking about like the whole blah blah blah.
But
yeah.
what if? So you're willing to wait for issue 2, right?
I mean, yeah, if you buy it. For
Okay,
me.
and then issue 2. Okay, sure. And then issue 2 comes out, and you're like, something mind blowing happens in it, and then you're like, I need to find out what happens in issue 3. That's the beauty of it. It does teach you a little bit of patience, which is kind of
Which I
crazy
don't have.
because which you don't have because your generation is used to like the binge format.